Hey YouTube, welcome to the fifth and final part of my welding cart project. Well, we're on the home stretch now. I've got the welding cart up on the table, ready to give it a grind off. Once upon a time a carpenter told me the only thing between a good join and a bad join was a tin of putty and a can of paint. Later on a welder told me something similar, that the only thing between a good weld and a bad weld was a grinder and a can of paint. Hopefully my welds aren't that bad. A couple of them do need a grind, a couple of them are all right. Considering it's the first welding project I've done in a long time, the first TIG welding project I've ever done, I didn't think I did too badly really. Of course there's always room for improvement, and looking at the professionals on Facebook, there's certainly a lot of room for improvement in my welding. Nevertheless, I'm happy with it. The cart's strong, there's no way it's ever going to fall apart. And good paint job, get it looking nice, and it'll all be finished. I'm going to give it an all-over grind, not just the wells, because I want to remove some of this scale off the metal prior to painting it. Fortunately, I can speed up the video. You don't have to sit through 10 or 15 minutes worth of grinding. We'll put it into warp speed, and it'll be over it in no time. I'm just going to use this hand drill to drill some holes for the screws where I need to fasten on the fly mounting plate. If you followed my previous video on the drill doctor review, this is a small drill bit that I sharpened in that review. It was completely broken before I sharpened it. Now it cuts like a new drill. I'm really super impressed with the drill doctor. I'll put a link in the description to my previous review. It was only a first impressions. As soon as I find some more time, I intend to do a much more thorough review on it. Now that the holes are drilled, all that remains to be done is to screw the mounting plates on. I used 5 screws, 3 on the long side and 2 on the short. I don't think it matters how much I hang on there. These suckers aren't going to go anywhere. We'll put the video back into silent movie mode, fast action and the old-fashioned music, just until we get finished with this job. If this was a bigger job, I'd go the whole hog, get the pressure going, get out the spray gun. But given how much hassle it is to clean the spray gun afterwards, and it's only a really small job, I just went up to the local hardware shop. I think it was $7 a can of paint, and I don't have to go to the trouble of cleaning up the gun afterwards. Just toss it in the bin when it's finished. I just have to stop the video here for a minute to introduce a mate of mine. He's just flown in. Whenever I'm out in the yard, he generally comes around to see what's on offer by way of food. If I'm out mowing the grass, it stirs up the insects and gets a good feed of them. If I'm out chopping wood, he sits in the tree right beside me. I can nearly reach out and touch him, waiting for the wood grubs to turn up. He's a very brave little bird. I've known him to swoop in under the axe, pick up a wood grub, and he just totally trusts me to stop the swing of the axe or deflect it in some way so I don't decapitate him. Anyway, there he is. He's always around, and I kind of like him. Best sort of pet to have. Comes and goes as he pleases, and he's always ready to come and beg for a little bit of pizza when I'm sitting out under the pergola eating some. As it turned out, one coat of paint wasn't enough. I needed to give it a second coat just to get reasonable coverage on it. Fortunately, the paint dried fairly quickly and that didn't hold me up very much. However, I did learn a bit more about paint in the process. Buying the cheapest can isn't necessarily the cheapest solution. This can of paint, while it was cheap compared to the others that were in the shop, was very watery, coverage was poor. I've certainly used lots of different brands of paints that had much better coverage, and I think next time I'll buy the more expensive brand, because I think in the long term it'll be cheaper. I'll just get away with one coat instead of two, and have half a tin left over for the next time. I picked up a couple of those plastic garden hose reels down at the local dollar shop, and that's what I attached to the fly mounting plates so that I could coil up my leads on there and keep it all nice and neat. Now all that remains is to put the shelves in and load her up. Most of the shelves dropped in very easily, but the middle shelf did give me a little bit of grief. There was a small bit of weld sticking out on the inside. Couldn't get the grinder in to grind it off, so I just had to give the shelf a little bit of a twist until I could get it past it. When I went to put the welder on, I found that the argon inlet was a little bit too low for the angle iron that I'd chosen to use, so I had to cut a piece out of that. That was a pretty simple job. Just grabbed the cut-off wheel and the angle grinder and made a couple of vertical cuts down, a horizontal cut to meet up with it almost, because of the size of the cutting wheel I couldn't quite get into the corners of it. Quick hacksaw just to make it nice and neat on the ends. All I needed to do then was to grab a pair of pliers and give it a little bit of a wriggle, break it off, and the welder fits very nicely. I'll plug all the leads into the welder and coil them up onto the hose reels that are mounted on the sides, and then the next thing to do is to get the argon bottle and put that on board. And with a high pressure gas bottle, of course, we want to make sure that that's fairly secure on the frame. Last thing I want is to have that bouncing around on the cement while I'm standing right next to it. So I'll use the strap that came with it, and that will hold it securely enough so that at least it won't fall off onto the ground. And last but not least, I can take the plastic coverings off the wheels now that the painting is finished.
200mm solid black rubber tyre, 3/4 inch axle, and supports 150 kilos each wheel, so it'll do the job quite nicely.
And that's it, the welding card is finished. As soon as my new plasma cutter arrives, I'll put that up on top alongside the welder. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it entertaining. And if you'd like a copy of the plans, they can be had at the link that will be showing up on your screen, or the link's also in the description. If you prefer, click on that, go to the bottom of the page and download the PDF plans.